I am here today to talk to you about World War II, one of the most devastating wars in history. World War II was a global war that lasted from 1939 to 1945. It involved the vast majority of the world's countries, including all of the great powers, eventually forming two opposing military alliances, the Allies and the Axis. In a state of total war, directly involving more than 100 million personnel from more than 30 countries, the major participants threw their entire economic, industrial, and scientific capabilities behind the war effort, blurring the distinction between civilian and military resources. World War II was the deadliest conflict in human history, marked by 50 to 85 million fatalities, most of whom were civilians in the Soviet Union and China. Tens of millions of people died due to genocides, including the Holocaust, premeditated death from starvation, massacres, and disease. Aircraft played a major role in the conflict, including in the strategic bombing of population centers, the development of nuclear weapons, and the only two uses of such in war. The causes of World War II. The causes of World War II are complex and still debated by historians. However, some of the most important factors include the rise of fascism and Nazism in Europe, the failure of the Treaty of Versailles to create a lasting peace after World War I, the Great Depression, which led to economic hardship and political instability in many countries, the rise of militarism in Japan, the failure of appeasement, which allowed Hitler to expand his power without consequences. The course of World War II. World War II began on September 1, 1939, when Germany invaded Poland. Britain and France declared war on Germany 2 days later. The war quickly spread to other parts of Europe, as Germany conquered Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium, and France in a series of lightning strikes. In June 1941, Germany launched Operation Barbarossa, an invasion of the Soviet Union. The invasion was initially successful, but the Soviet army eventually turned the tide and pushed the Germans back. In December 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The United States declared war on Japan, and soon after, Germany and Italy declared war on the United States. The war in the Pacific was fought on a much larger scale than the war in Europe. Japan conquered much of Southeast Asia and the Pacific Islands. However, the United States eventually turned the tide of the war in the Pacific, and Japan surrendered in August 1945. The war in Europe ended in May 1945, when Germany surrendered to the Allies. The war had a devastating impact on Europe, with millions of people killed and many cities destroyed. The Holocaust. One of the most horrific aspects of World War II was the Holocaust. The Holocaust was the systematic extermination of Jews by the Nazi regime. Over 6 million Jews were killed during the Holocaust, and it is considered one of the greatest atrocities in human history. The legacy of World War II. World War II had a profound impact on the world. It led to the establishment of the United Nations, the creation of the Cold War, and the rise of decolonization. The war also led to a new awareness of the dangers of fascism and totalitarianism. Conclusion. World War II was a devastating conflict that had a profound impact on the world. It is important to remember the lessons of this war so that we can work to prevent such a tragedy from happening again. Thank you for listening.